Hey guys, today we'll be cooking a gourmet steak dinner with mayonnaise potato and roasted broccoli. First thing you need to do is cut up your onions. Once you've finished cutting up your onions, microwave your potatoes for 5 minutes. Make sure to do 1 minute intervals so your potatoes don't explode in the microwave. Next, cut up your potatoes. Don't worry if they get a little smashed, they don't have to be perfect. Next, add bacon grease to a flat top skillet. Put your onions and potatoes apart. Now add a little sprinkle of freshly ground pepper and a little sprinkle of salt. And if your mayonnaise potatoes get a little dry, just add a little stick of butter just to make sure that they stay nice and moist. For the broccoli, you want to add some extra virgin olive oil. Put more than you think, or it'll come out dry. Some freshly ground black pepper, a sprinkle of salt, and some garlic powder. Now it's time to put your broccoli in the oven at 420 for about 10 minutes. Make sure to flip your broccoli about halfway through. Now it's time to season your steak. For my steak, I used ribeye. Just add a little sprinkle of salt to each side. Make sure you get it nice and coated. Then you're going to want to let it sit in the fridge for about 15 to 20 minutes covered, just to make sure that the salt seeps into the meat. Then you're going to add garlic powder and freshly ground black pepper to each side. After about 5 minutes, you just want to flip your broccoli so it doesn't get burnt on one side. Now it's time to cook the steak. Add a little tab butter to a hot pan. Then get your steak once the butter is melted and lay it on there. The steak should cook on medium-high for about 2 minutes, so you get a perfect medium rare. 2 twigs of fresh rosemary and some dried thyme on the side. After about a minute and a half, add another tab of butter just so the steak doesn't get dry. Then flip the steak. After the butter is melted, start basting top of your steak. Don't be afraid to really get in there. After the 10 minutes is up, take your broccoli out of the oven. To make sure the steak is done, use a meat thermometer in the thickest part of the steak. It should be around 140 degrees. Next, for the au jus, use half a cup of red wine. Let it simmer down to get all that good old fond off the pan. After it's reduced a little bit, add a sprinkle of salt and some freshly ground black pepper. Let it simmer for a little while. Then you want to add half a cup of beef stock. Whisk that around for a little while. Make sure you get all that good old fond off the pan. You don't want to leave any of it left behind. Let it simmer on medium-low heat for about 5 minutes or until it's reduced nicely. After that, you're just going to strain it. Make sure to get all that rosemary and dried thyme out of your au jus. Look at that, that's liquid gold. Now it's time for the taste test. The steak was super tender and pretty easy to cut too. And it's a perfect medium rare. Now it's time to dip it in that au jus. Oh my god, that's so good. I even had some of my family try it. My sister, a little camera shy. My mom was not camera shy. But it turned out delicious.